Hello.
Is that okay?
Yeah, all good.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so last time we were talking about your interview you had with South Pier, where they wanted you to take over a nightclub, and you decided you didn't want to have to move to Brighton.
Yeah, and then I came back and I said to your grandmother, I better not step into that line. Not as though you want to go, because they want to sell this house again, like Unigate. How two companies can be the same, I really don't know, and I find it difficult now to understand. Anyhow, I thought about it and I thought, no, I'm going to say I'm sorry to my manager, who was the ex-RAF wing commander, and I said, I'm sorry, Bill, but I think I'm going to have to call it a day, because I can hardly stop here when they earmarked me for an even better job, lift up the rank and a lot more money, and I turned it down. So I'm not a very good person. So if you don't mind, can I give a resignation? Do you want a month or a week? I get paid weekly anyway. Yeah, make it a week, Ken, if you don't mind. I can keep you for a week, but I said it'd be unfair of me to keep you for a month. Well, you're obviously trying to look for a job.
Yeah.
So as from after we finish today, you'll get all your bits and pieces together. Come and visit us. Don't, if you've got some spare time, bring up and say, "Are you there? Yeah, come in, but put the kettle on." And so that's what I did. So I still kept friends with them. So I went home, told that evening, told Marilyn the story. She said, "Why, it's probably best that you leave, because that was a drinking place anyway, and that's not your cup of tea, and you were going into an even worse one." So she said, I said, "But I need a job to do." So she said, "Well, there's that Bookmakers round the corner, basically, down the road opposite where we lived, and that looks after the factories in that area, in sort of North Portsmouth, and also there was the bookmaker. Yeah, that was the Bookmakers." And then she said, "There's Ken's friend who runs a building business, and I know you've helped before with Ken, and you thought of forming a business. Why don't you talk about that again?" So that's what happened. So talked to Ken. He said, "Yeah, fine, we can do that. I can help with that, so and so," because I don't think he was working at the time, or didn't have much work coming in. So anyway, he said Baker Ross, and so he got some cards printed somewhere. And one of his or friends, or somebody that he knew, wanted some building work done, quite a biggish job, a roofing supports and all sorts of other things. So we went there. We were working there for a few months and got paid in instalments. But I didn't see much of that, so I thought, waste of time stopping here. So then I thought, oh, Ken belongs to that bookmaker, and he has mentioned the fact that the chap wants to pack it in, and if somebody wanted to be a bookmaker, that, you know, say like you, because you're free and you're the age you are, you can take it on, because he doesn't want paying for it. You'd have to pay the rent to the chap who owns the building.
Yeah.
But that's minuscule. So what do you think? I said, well, shall we go round and meet this guy named Peter then? He said, that's a good idea. He said he's a bit, roughly my age. I said, okay.
How old were you?
How old was I? I was obviously about 43 or 4 or 5, somewhere in that area. Because I'd had those 2 jobs before, as you know. And I went round, saw Peter, had a chat with he made a cup of tea. So we sat in the Bookmakers. Nobody called in until obviously it came to 12 o'clock when all the workers were going to pile in. So I said, well, we better go now. We'll make a date. When's a good time? He said, oh, if you can come tomorrow morning at so-and-so time, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever, we can go into detail. I said, okay. So he said, well, what do you know about that? So he said, well, you can come in here and help me if you want for free. That gives us some idea what to do. And you can chalk up the board. There's all the horses named on lists, which we hang on the wall, which comes through the letterbox every morning. And you pin those up. And when the race is on, you turn on the loudspeaker, and obviously a commentator reporting what the horses are running like. So that's what I did, and I eventually went there to work. And I was there for a year, maybe two, and it was a failure because the amount of profit that I kept after I paid out all the bets to the people that were winning didn't leave very much, and so I thought I needed to get another job, and so as Baker Ross had proved almost non-existent. We made a few bob etc., but it was a bit iffy the jobs that were coming in because they were small and paid very little, and most of that money Barry had young children, so Barry Baker sort of got the highest amount of cash, so that didn't work too well, and so quit that, and as I say, went to the Bookmakers. That lasted for, I don't know, a year. It could have been 2 years. Time passed, and I've got to stop now, Mark, because I can't think of what I did next.
That's all right. We don't need to stop. Just
Oh,
it doesn't necessarily have to be in order. It's just things you've done.
well, I can't remember what I did after the Bookmakers. We took over another book. I took over another Bookmakers, and your grandmother and I went down and decorated it out and ordered things in this particular place at North End.
Mm-hmm.
Not North End, technically Hilsey, in the main London road. There was I think it had been a Bookmaker before and closed. So I opened it and carried on then for a while. But even just running the one place, I had to close the other one, as I said, that I first started in. And so that was then me out of a job and out of money. And I can't really remember what I did after that to get money, Mark. So
No.
if you want to deaden that, and
Okay. Hold on.
and I've really racked my brain.
2 seconds. Hold on.